Hey there, freaks and sickos. Welcome to my campaign. What I'm about to do is show you all of my video projects that I am working on currently. And here's how I am going to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is install the best, the greatest note-taking app of all time, AnyType. Just do a Flatpak install AnyType. AnyType is an open source alternative to Notion, and it's free. You can have a look at the source code. It runs about the same. It's like any other PKM personal knowledge manager, like Obsidian, but I like this one. I think it's the best. And upon entering AnyType, what you will find is you will stumble upon the wizard's directory, and I am the Wizard of Maple Grove. I am some dude who wants to be a computer science communicator. I believe that as time goes on, that will become more important, and I want to be the guy that makes it make sense to everyday people. And there's never really been that. You've had general science communicators, you've had nuclear science communicators like Kyle Hill. Then there's me. Yeah. I'm no Bill Nye when it comes to Riz. I'm not I'm not Carl Sagan. I can't really perform well with general knowledge, but if I fixate on computers, I believe I can help put things into perspective. And one of the things that are important in computer science is the concept of threads, that there are these strings of information. This goes all the way back to Alan Turing and computers as we currently know them. There's this string of information, and the computer is using that, a series of ones and zeros on and off, player piano key pressed or not pressed, and it's trying to present that in a way that makes sense to our minds, human minds. We don't think in ones and zeros, we think in, well, stuff more like this, a bit more whimsical with text. And the whole point of computers is to take something complicated and make it simple for us. And the most simple form of information, on or off, doesn't make sense, but once it's run through a processor, you get the output. And computers nowadays work with multiple strings at a time of information. You have several different cores that could be working on different tasks. And they'll do that faster than your mind can comprehend. So within one thread, which is how computers used to be before we had the multi-core processors like the Core 2 Duo and so on and so forth until today, um, what appears to be multitasking is just switching back and forth between these tasks until you got it done. And I take that concept with my videos as well. As you can see, I have a directory that I made with AnyType, which is a note-taking app that is superior to Notion, and it harkens back to some old HTML and old internet ways of doing things, like linking to stuff. This links to a page that shows some of my general information. And if I go to the wizard's agenda, you can see I'm already behind because there's stuff, these videos, that I really can't do on a fixed deadline. When it comes to creative projects, I'm not a fan of fixed deadlines, at least in the context of YouTubes and novels. And if I ever get the skills to make songs and music later on, um, that sort of thing. It's like, what do I have the most energy to fixate on and finish in the least amount of time? And when it comes to these project trains, I like to call them, it's this. These are all the projects I'm committed to right now. These are all the videos. And in this way, one person, can be working on many different videos at a time as I'm alive, as I'm living. Whether it's with brainstorming or filming, making the script, taking notes, editing, this is all being pieced together over time. And the one I'm working on right now is this. This is all the stuff that I would like put in the video. It's a check box, and in that checkbox is every element that has been touched. And this is great. You have the way that energy works with work. You have your acceleration getting to 80%, giving it your 80%, and then accelerating even more into that 100% when you're in that flow state, going back and forth between 80, 100, 80, 100. Programmers like to talk about doing things this way, but what I find more important is having a track to begin with, having a path to get things done. And here is where I am with the current video, but I can also show you some other projects. Here's a speech I have about being a man. I'm committed to this, but I don't have any more information than that. There's no checkboxes there as of right now. There's a project I have where I'm going to do the math on beans on my channel Fun with Numbers. There's a book I'm working on. And here's some videos that are also being worked on. There's a video for open source toys on immutable distros. I'm working on a Bazite console. And these are all in different stages of doneness. Like here, it's 0. This, I just put this page together very recently, but I would say this one is more like 85% done, and a tour of this is more like 70% done. And any given day, each project gets closer to doneness. And at any time, I can sit down here and get into the flow state, which I need for filming and editing to get the acceleration, flow, deceleration. And ideally, what you would like to do is accelerate, get into the flow state, and then finish in the flow state. Yay! I'm gonna do it with this one. I'm gonna do it with this take, but there are some other more complicated things where you have to go and start working on it again and again and again until it is finally done. And the Bazite console is one of those things. It's the closest to done. If I want to get the next thing out, it would probably be that and then a tour of this desktop. But this is not open source toys. This is me telling you about time management. And not all of the checkboxes are done in order. it's what I'm best suited to do at the time, and when it comes to these, it's how much do I feel like doing them? And the thing about having a to-do list like this, having these project trains being worked on piece by piece in a seemingly random order, but it's really what my heart desires the most, is I don't just work horizontally. I don't just put the pieces together like a torrent, like, this. And then letting myself be worn down. No, with this method, the more I work on, the harder it is to get distracted and to procrastinate. And I know what you're thinking, like you can have isn't it possible to have too many of these projects? Well, technically, but these work trains, some of them are longer than others and will take more time to fill up and ship out than others. And if I keep applying myself day after day, not only will I have and build the endurance to see all of these through the very end, not only will I get better, as with anyone else doing creative stuff, but I'll also be at a point where I'll have a bunch of things and I can work vertically. Like a month from now, I won't just have enough for the bare minimum goal of one video per month on all three of my channels, which is already like 10 times the work Internet Historian is doing, but I digress. I can also work vertically here too, and I can uh check off video to video to video to video by doing one vertical task, which might be filming, it might be editing, whatever that may be. And that's how I could end up in a situation where I get the minimum one video a month on all three of my channels, and I could do that, find a way to do that horizontally, but I don't want to limit myself and keep trying to do stuff easier and easier. We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And when you have hard work, especially hard work that doesn't have an absolute deadline, this isn't like a weekly planner, which is what the agenda is supposed to be, where here's a list of things I have to do, have to get ready for, or I will be screwed. Like, here's a deadline, I have to pick up my prescription, or go to these appointments on these days at these times. This is not a fixed agenda with deadlines. This is projects I work on. And it's kind of like exercise. I put effort into every single day, and I decide what I feel like doing the most when I feel like doing it. And then that gets done. If I want to commit to other projects, I get those and I put those pieces in. And if it gets too much and I run out of steam and I decelerate and need to leave it at that for the next day, that's fine, but effort has already been made, stuff has already been filmed, scripts have already been written, metaphors have already been woven. It's like I'm weaving together this big, beautiful quilt of all the messages I want to communicate. Whether it's on my general, opinion channel, Clark Macbeth, or if it's for open source toys where I get more into the details about programs, or fun with numbers where I try to make sense on why doing some things is better than others. Like, why is the left pushing a more bean diet now? Is there something to this? It's like, it's one thing to just say this is better and go on assumptions of why it's better, but it's another thing to have someone like myself actually dig into the research, give reaction to the research, calculate the numbers, and spit them out, and make clear, plain, logical sense to you. But that's how I do this, and this is why I don't really like saying, I'm working on building a game console. Technically true, but I also have this other stuff in various stages, and if I really find the need at any point, at least starting a month from now, to just surge out more content. Like next month, it's gonna be winter. It's when most people are gonna be indoors and watching YouTube content. Then yeah, instead of working horizontally, I can work vertically. Or I could have so many things that are close to done. I could kick them all out the door. And that's where things are at with myself and my career on YouTube. That's how I'm doing this pretty much on my own. And that's what I have to work with for now, and hopefully you enjoyed a look into how I handle video projects. And there you have it. That's my weird, wonderful way of managing time. I believe I covered all of this, but another thing about these work trains, this work train method, or the torrenting method of creative output is, well, one, since I'm a furry, I might as well just tell the other furries this is how you can draw stuff too. and work on your drawing projects. I know there are some of you who do this already, and there are maybe some beginning artists who are like, how do I deal with the burnout of focusing on the one image on my queue when there is another art piece that I would like to work on more that is also in the queue? Do I have to finish this or can I start the other one? Well, you can. You just got to remember that how many people are in the queue and that they all need to be done in a reasonable amount of time. You still need to have like the base goal, which I just explained to you, of at least one, but you could be on a hot streak and do more with the experience you gain of drawing, or you could work them all down vertically. You could have a bunch of images that are 80% done. Boom, there you go. And you can add that to your resume, and then you could work on the other things if you find downtime, and you can get those up and done. This is how I handle creative projects because, again, there's no hard deadline, but I don't want to leave you with nothing anymore. I will have periods of surge output, and I may have one video a month, and during that one video a month, I might be working on a bunch of different things, a lot of them time shifted, and I'll look like I'm really active and, enjoy the fact that things are coming out. And, this is a fun way of handling time. And when all of it's done, I never feel overwhelmed. I'm always making progress. I know that I just have to make progress on anything any day, and I'm already good, and they're already getting closer to 100, and then beyond the goal, and then they'll get to the goal line. I just have to make the effort every day into the thing, and it will get done, or I have to put the effort into a task and a bunch of things, and then they'll all get done or way closer to it. So that's where I'm going to leave this, and when any of these are done, this is just a demonstration. I will go back and then click it once it is finally out the door because I want this piece to be as honest as possible. My page of these work trains, I'll just click that, and if there's something I left out or missed that I thought I wanted to consider in the future, I can look back here, go on to one of these and think, there's something I thought about doing in another video, but I didn't have time for. Maybe I could do that in the future, but what was it though? It's written down here. It's in any type. And if you want to see more of that, well, I am going to be working on a video in open source toys that is a demonstration of any type, the ultimate internet trapper keeper. And as always, subscribe if you like, and share if you care. Don't ya know?